Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a special bike that I've been wanting to try also for a long time. This category of mountain bikes has been getting some really good feedback, really capable at 120 millimeters. That is the new Santa Cruz Tallboy, the lower link suspension bike. We're going to take a look at it right here. Okay, so this build here is the Carbon S build, and it's the Carbon C. It's not the Carbon CC. Carbon CC is probably about, from what I understand, 250 grams, about a half a pound lighter. This one here comes equipped with the, it comes in at about 29.5 pounds. It's got the Fox 34 performance fork at 130 millimeters of travel. Rear derailleur, it's SRAM GX Eagle, so you got the 12 speed. Shifters as well, you're looking at SRAM GX Eagle, and the crankset is a SRAM Stylo. It's the crankset we've got on here, and this is a large frame, and this particular large frame is equipped with the 175 millimeter crank. If you want the 170 on a full build Santa Cruz, it comes only on the small and the medium on the Tallboy. Brakes, these are the SRAM guides, the guide R's, as you could tell. Headset, looking at a Cane Creek 40 on that headset. Bars are race face. It's a 760 bar, and stem is a race face, the effect stem. For hubs on this bike, comes equipped with the DT Swiss 370 hubs. The rims on these are race face AR. These are the 27. On these wheels, tires, we've got 2.3 inch. This is a DHF front, and the back DHR. So downhill front, downhill rear on the Maxxis Minions. Tubeless tires. This is a WTB Silverado Santa Cruz saddle. Dropper post is 175 mils. It's the RockShox Reverb. This new post is really nice. I really like it a lot. We have the Fox Float DPS Evol single canister for this particular bike. Most of the bikes usually always come with the flip chip set in a particular direction. The flip chip's usually in the high setting, but purposely today we took this flip chip and we're going to ride the flip chip in the low setting. And the reason for that is, want to see how that does the geometry on this bike. The low setting puts the Tallboy very similarly close to the Yeti SB130 and to the Ibis Ripley, the new Ibis Ripley. When you put this in that same low setting, you're getting the geometry almost dead on exactly. The only difference between this and the SB130 is it does slacken the seat tube angle. The Yeti seat tube angle is about 76.9, I believe, in a large. So it's very close to the Yeti and the Ripley. It just slackens out the seat tube just a little bit. Now, if you notice on the Tallboy, it also comes equipped in the rear for 10 millimeters of adjustment. In the rear triangle, as you noticed right here, there's also the possibility for you to control how long or how short you have. 10 millimeters. There's a chip here as well. You can adjust this. I believe it comes with 430 millimeters on the chainstay. You can extend it to 440 millimeters. We're going to ride it in the tighter setting to keep it at 430 millimeters. One of the complaints that people are kind of giving about the Santa Cruz line right now in the lower link is they are coming in a little bit heavier, but it could be they're building them so stout that there's really no room for cracking. If you look at this frame in person, I mean, it is solid stout. The second reason for that, though, could be the frame is so stiff on the trail. I mean, it is solid stiff. I've been on the Mega Tower and the Hightower. These are stiff bikes. There's no flex in the rear triangles, none of that at all. You can't detect any of it. Let's check and see what this bike is capable of at 120 millimeters. So one of the things I'm noticing is that the reach on this bike, it does feel shorter. Compared to the SB130, I can just tell cockpit feels a little bit tighter. And that's probably because the reach does shorten when you flip that chip to the low setting, and the stack comes up as well. So the Yeti has a high stack but a longer reach. I wish this had a little bit longer of the reach. Boy, this bike really carves. Loves to be in the air. Well, I'm surprised how it doesn't break traction. Very little on those steep climbs, as you just saw that, just dug in. So when you're climbing with this thing, the front tire, it just doesn't lift. It just stays planted, no matter how steep you are. But there is a touch of pedal bob, I've noticed. And it seems like it's more noticeable when you're on flatter trail. One thing I've noticed in observation about this suspension, this has to be the most capable 120 millimeter bike I've ridden. This suspension feels like the SB130. Do I dare go so far to say it feels even better? thing is so composed. I can't believe it's 120 mils. It appears like I haven't used all of it still, and I'm really surprised. There's still a touch of it left. Take another look at it here. So one thing difficult too about these Lower Link bikes, it's hard to get down there to see where you're at, to see your sag, and I still have a little bit left. And I'll be honest, this build isn't too bad at all. The group set's very nice though. The shifting is very crisp, buttery smooth. You'd be really happy. And even though this Fox fork does not have the Grip 2 damper, it's actually it's doing really nice. It's a really nice fork. I think for some stiffness though, with not taking away too much of the weight, I would personally go with the RockShox Pike with 140 mils. And again, this new RockShox dropper post, it's operating flawlessly. It's totally fast, quick, goes down buttery smooth. The only thing I wonder about them is how well do these new dropper posts do in the cold. I know the old ones were not very good at the cold. They started to slow down a lot. This Carbon S build, I would get with DT Swiss to get their 54 ratchet replacement on the rear hub to give you more points of engagement. Their kit is a really nice upgrade. Here's one thing I'm noticing with it. It's right on the verge of that feeling over the bike, that wheelbarrow feeling that a lot of the old geometry bikes, when you stand up into them, kind of like I am right now, which you can't see on the video, you feel like you're sitting forward and you're about to go over the bars. It's a touch close to that. Not all the way, but it's just a close touch to that. And I'm wondering if the reach would have helped mitigate some of that. So I'm going to be honest, this bike reminds me a lot of the version 1 Hightower, the one that does not have the lower link. It does not seem as kind of snappy as it, but it's very close. It feels just as capable. I felt on the version 1 Hightower, you could easily manual that thing, you could easily pick it up, move it. It could just be that these bikes that they're making now are so well planted and with well intention to stay on the ground and keep you safe. Just want to point out some cool features that are found on this bike. I've mentioned this before. It's on the Hightower, it's on the Mega Tower. This chainstay here has this rubber protector. It is super nice. The bike is so quiet, you can't hear the chain slap at all. One of the cool features they've made. Also, some people have wondered about the shock mount getting dirt in there, but they have this really cool mud flap they've put in there, and look at this thing. It's solid. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's done really solid. One of the drawbacks that I find on it though is it's difficult to set your sag and find out where you're at. So if you look on here, because of this carbon piece, it's hard to see what's going on. It's hard to see where's my sag. It's kind of the same view from the other side. Looking at the shock, I'd find it very hard to believe you could get a bigger can in there It's possible one could be there. I'm not sure if it hits, and I don't know what Santa Cruz recommends regarding this shock, if you could upgrade the shock to an X2 or something like that. But this Eagle drivetrain, this GX, flawless, man. It's a really good shifting system. You'd be really happy with it. So that's our review on the Tallboy Carbon. Really enjoyed it. Until then, remember to keep traveling the narrow trail.